Good evening and welcome everybody. My name is Alex and this is a live stream of Connectagram where we've got words and they've been shuffled up. Some of them are in the correct spot, but we've got to unshuffle them. So let me know if there's any that you recognize or want to take a guess at, and I'll see what we can do. Also, if you've got any questions, then feel free to ask. I can do talk about just about anything as well. So this one's jumping out at me at the moment saying suppose. It's a bit like a guess. I suppose, we could have an appointment next week. We could go with it if it's fine. It's not quite committing there, but it's saying it's possible. Goodbye. So farewell. I think this is going to be coconut. Yep, the type of food. Tropical, growing in trees. Can get help if I stumble a bit. Foolish. It's foolish to put all of your eggs in one basket. If you trip and fall over, you could end up with no eggs. Confine. So to keep something that can move around. I think it might be living as well. When we had visitors around, we'd confine the dogs to their backyard so that they didn't jump up on their legs as the visitors walked from the front of the house to the doorway. Removal. We're taking something and getting rid of it. Remove as much rubbish as possible at bin night. I think it's going to be nursery. So can be used for two things, plants at a nursery and children. So the nursery would be a place for kids to learn where all their toys would be, maybe a rocking horse and similar. Where young things looking after. So patient. Not sure if there's two spellings for this one off the top of my head, but people that go see doctors are patients. Yeah, there's definitely two spellings of that. And this is the people that see doctors. The other one of patients is asking people to politely wait. If, say, an aircraft gets delayed, they might get angry and they're not being very patient. Embassy. So embassy is it's a way how countries maintain diplomatic ties with each other. If you so there might be an Australian embassy over in America, and there might be a whole bunch of other embassies. There's quite a few of them. I'm not sure there's any of them outside of Canberra, but most of the other countries' embassies in Australia are in Canberra near our Parliament House. So that way, if the representatives of other countries want to send a formal notice, they could send an ambassador or a diplomat who is living at the embassy to speak to our government representatives like ministers. Ideally, it's not a firm requirement, but how would you like your coffee? Ideally with milk and 2 sugars, but if there's only one available or if there's no sugar available, then I'm still having coffee. I could say if someone wanted to come visit me, ideally it's after 10:30, but I want to see you anyway, so if you're earlier, then drop in anyway. Alcohol. So a type of drink where people can get drunk, like wine or beer, spirits as well. and execute. So there's two meanings to this one. Your computer might execute some code, but if a person gets executed, then they've been killed. So someone found guilty of maybe murdering several people might get executed. And you might also, while debugging some code, see what specific part of the program is being executed when the error messages are raised. So I'll kick on with another one. I'll go into 8 letters. And I think this is going to be positive. Yeah. So results could come back showing I might have a virus, or it could be a number, positive number or a negative number. And this one's jumping out at me at the moment for a crossing. So pedestrian crossing, or there might be animal crossings at the roads. And there might also be signs up there saying that some wildlife will cross in the area as well. Polymer rings a bell with this one, but there's no P. And it's almost all in the right order as well. So formally, artists may go by a specific name, and they may formally be that, or I might formally be a certain residential address where they need a new address to send a bill to me or something like that. Yeah, none of these are really jumping out at me at the moment. Irrelevant. So the police might have got a statement of witnesses gathering relevant information about what happened if there was a car crash. We're not too worried about what the colours of the cars are or what the drivers were wearing. Well, in most cases not. But who was going through which way, and maybe if someone had to give right of way but didn't, whether that would be relevant. So this one looks to be umbrella. We're going to use it to stay dry when it gets raining. Don't have a raincoat with us, so take an umbrella, might put it in a bag and then extend it when we need to. It looks to be evaluate. So I might go to a bank and apply for a home loan. Then a banker might evaluate what assets I've got, what my income is, whether I'm getting any extra rent coming through, to evaluate whether they are able to give me a loan. I might be too much of a risk. I might be a very good applicant when they fall over and try and get me to sign up and maybe offer a discounted rate. I think this is going to be director. Someone high up in an organization might get a title like that. Also someone who's making movies. There'll be a producer who might be overarching responsibility of the movie, but the director who's in charge of getting particular shots and telling the storytelling, making sure things go together. And this looks to be keyboard. So on a computer, but also it could be an electronic piano I've seen called a keyboard before. Moreover, yeah, I'm not too sure. I can't really have anything I could add to that one at the moment, not off the top of my head. Saucepan. So if we're often cooking, get some saucepans out, might boil some spaghetti in them. similar to a pot. Operator. So it might be the forklift operators, the people driving, or the machinery crane operator, person responsible for making it there. And I think this is going to be interior as well. So for insides, interior of the house, well, it was looked was much nicer and was updated compared to the exterior, which has been a bit run down. So we'll go to something 6 letters this time, and I'll see if I can update the very high. There we go. Got a few in that one. So escape. Some of the prisoners were looking to escape from the prison. Coming. I might not want to leave house if there's a delivery coming. Clever. Someone might be very bright and give me a solution to a problem I've been stumped over. A holder. So there might be a ticket holder, someone who has the tickets. And this is going to be suffix. So suffix is something that comes after a word or something afterwards. The opposite of prefix. And fourth. So if there's an Olympic event, the fourth person is the best person who ends up not getting a medal. First person gets gold, second will get silver, third will get bronze. Bright. The light shining straight through the window might be too bright. I might want to turn the blinds. Regret. Might be on a trip around the world, once in a lifetime opportunity, and I might feel a bit uncomfortable, like going for a swim in some water that might be very cold, but I might go, well, do it, because if you don't, you'll regret it. You know, you wish later on, you wish you did something or didn't do something that you did do, or wish you did the other thing. So hardly. Was hardly a problem. But not very much of it, yeah. Of a problem. It was hardly an issue for me to change seats on the booked flight because there were so many empty seats I could just move around. If the flight was very full, then it could be more of an issue. Breast. So it's a part of the body. When around food, you've got chicken breast, which is a preferred type of meat compared to the thigh, but also the breasts. It's a noticeable feature of of women. Aspect. It could be in relation to sort of how you see it. The aspect of ships fighting in a battle. You might want to have a ship sideways on and see more of it, or you might want to travel head on and be harder to see. Closet. So clothing, storage area, usually kept in the closet. And height, relating to how tall things are. People might be afraid of heights and not want to go up to the crane or similar. Recent. stuff that's happened in the last maybe month or so. There might have been a recent uptake in robberies, and the police are going out for a crackdown to try and find out and put a stop to them. Or recent several car thefts. Oppose to be against something. The some legislation in Parliament might get passed unanimously where everyone votes for it, but some of it might have a few people oppose it, and they might get up and speak to why. I think reader. Some friend might be an avid reader, and on average go through a book once a week. And I'll go for some 10-letter words for this one. That's too much, sorry. No, it's not going to quite fit 10. Looks like it's a bit too much. I'll try it as a... There we go. This one's jumping out straight out to me. Ridiculous. Someone might look absolutely ridiculous in a costume, or it could also be ridiculous to make an accusation about someone being a thief because, well, if they own the company, then they might be able to take money from it anyway. And, so why would they want to steal from themselves? This one looks to be determined. Normally people might give up on puzzles, but if someone wants to sit through and spend 30 minutes, keep going after everyone else is finished, then they'd be determined. Looks to be personally. You might have recognized someone or have heard of them, but if you've personally known them, you've dealt with them before and had a lot to do with them. Might have been friends going up through school or something like that. And looks to be depressing. So someone might be studying and not quite gel with the material, and they might get a bit depressed as they're coming to the end of the semester with thinking they're just going to fail the subject. It doesn't matter how hard they study, they don't think they'll ever pass. Allegation. So the police make an allegation that someone has stolen a car or committed another crime. Maybe they were wanted for a burglary or an armed robbery, and it goes to court for it to be proven whether they did do or not. So a department, there might be a store, a department store, there might be a video section, and there might be a clothing section and hardware, and then there's also maybe pet food. And each of those could be run by separate people. So someone wouldn't be across everything, and you wouldn't want to ask someone over in the clothing section whether they've got the latest books or not. So attractive. They get warned by police about not leaving attractive items visible in your car, lest someone grab a brick and smash it through the window and then take it. Electrical. So if someone's going to change the wires in a house, add a new outlet or similar, then they need to be licensed. or do any electric work. If you're not doing it permanently, like running a power cord, that's fine. But someone's running a new wire through the roof of the house, then need to be certified. But to do with the electricity. Not too sure what this one is. Experience. Yeah, experience, not whether it's experienced or similar. So when applying for a job, you might list what other relevant experience you've got. And related to that, maybe if you've been in a sporting team or similar, you could list a position of leadership. So someone who's been on the field and getting the team to work and all together and getting people to do, yeah. It's a bit of a manager, but also out on the field with stuff, having skin in the game. Oh, associated. Well, some of the things stores might do is you might come in for a big item, but they might also look to sell some associated items as well. So if you come in and buy a computer, that's great, but they might also sell you a case for the computer and a mouse for it. There's several associated items they can upsell you with as well. So you might only want one item, but you might end up spending a bit more than what you originally thought. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be playground. So some children would go and play. So swings, slippery dip, seesaw, and maybe sand pit. Might be some games in there as well, or something to climb on. I think it's going to be retirement. When people stop working, or they might go traveling. But yeah, normally someone works for 20, 30, 40 years at a job and then spend some time in retirement, just gardening or similar. And I'll go for another one of about 10 letters as well. Stick with the same thing. So I think we've got an earthquake here as well, where tectonic plates will rub up against each other and pressure builds until it can't hold anymore and the earth shakes backwards and forwards. It might damage some buildings, or it could just be a little bit of a shock, like someone might think they're shaking the bed. 19th. I think we've got playground again. I think this is going to be disgusting. You might go into a portable toilet, and because it's hasn't been pumped out and the smell has just been circulating in there and lots of people have been using it, you might take one whiff and go, that's disgusting. Consultant, so a company that doesn't normally deal with things might get an external person to come through and give them advice. So say it's a company that's been making things in the same factory day in, day out, and they might want to see if they could rework the factory and get more production out. So they might bring a consultant in there to examine their production and give them advice. And remarkable. Yeah, might have saw someone, or the police might have knocked on the door and said, did you notice anything unusual this morning? And I might go, well, nothing remarkable. The regular people walk past, but nothing out of the ordinary. But then again, I might have seen a different car parked across the road where I know my neighbours and they don't normally park one there, so I might mention that. And mechanical. So it's not quite sure how to describe mechanical at the moment. There's no electronics, no pressure, no pneumatic. There's like a mechanical brake, like on a push bike, where if you pull the handle and that then pulls the cable in, and the cable causes the brake to touch the tire, and the heat generated from that and the force will slow the bike down. It's just very simple, rather than say, an electrical. But there might also be a mechanical brake in a car as a secondary system as part of the safety standards. And I think I know what this one is going to be. It's a helicopter. So an aircraft that can take off in small spaces, like usually used for rescue and medical transfers. And recreation, just having a bit of a blank with that one. It's another way of saying what things people do for fun. Enthusiasm. How happy someone is to be doing a task or a job. Someone might want to go out and play, and if we tell them, well, they've got to go to the library, then it's going to have a low level of enthusiasm. But if, let's say, it's like a dog at house at your home, if you grab the tennis ball and a lead and say we're going for a walk, the dog will just pick up. Where before they might have been a little low in energy, not having much to do, you can see all of a sudden they're jumpy and energetic and ready to move around. Philosophy. So studying of like ancient Greek, there were a lot of philosophies. I think there was a problem, like a thought problem about the ship of Thesicles, where if you take a ship and then you swap a part out, well, it's sort of changed. But then what if you swapped every part out? So you've got the new rudder and a new body, and then changed and you put a new mast in there. But is it the same ship? There was there was a bit of thought going through as to infectious. Someone might get sick, but if they're infectious, they might be able to pass it on to me. We don't want that. But if, even though they might be coughing and still showing symptoms and feeling unwell, they might not longer be infectious. So I could spend time around them knowing I'm not going to pick it up. And I think it's just going to be historical. So to do a thing in the past. So there might have been someone set to study the like historical events of the Parliament or something along those lines. I think I'll wrap it up there. I wasn't quite expecting to do one of these, but if you've got any questions, comments, or feedback, or any suggestions about pretty much anything else to cover in the channel, let me know. Happy to tailor a suit. And yeah, thank you very much. I think I'll just wrap it up here.